So we need to understand that there is a big difference between finding value of a bond and finding value of a share. Now, for finding value of a share, obviously you will have to follow through a big rigmarole of looking at the income of the company, cash flow of the company, cost of capital of the company, life of the company, history of the company, so on and so forth. So, equity valuation is going to be much detailed an exercise in comparison to valuation of bonds. So if you are holding a bond and you want to find out as to what is the value of this bond for you, what you will do, you will simply do same thing as you would have done in case of a project expenditure. So what you will do in case of a project expenditure, I am sure you can recollect, in case of project expenditure, you will find out what are the cash flows on this project and discount those cash flows with your cost of capital. So when you discount those cash flows with your cost of capital, the total that you get becomes the value of that project for you. Same is the case as far as valuation of bond is concerned. Please remember, unlike in case of equity, where your cash flow can vary from year to year, in case of a bond, Rajendra, can you please mute yourself? In case of equity, the cash flow can vary from year to year, but in case of a bond, the cash flow, and especially a fixed income security bond, the interest is not going to vary from year to year. Not only interest is not going to vary from year to year, at the same time the tenure is also fixed. In case of a company, tenure is also not, in case of equity, tenure is also not fixed, but in case of bond, tenure is fixed, cash flow is also fixed, and therefore finding value of a bond is much simpler, much easier than finding the value of an equity. So please remember, if you have to do the evaluation of a bond, and what you need to look at, you only need to look at the cash flow. You only need to look at the cash flow and discount that cash flow with your cost of capital, and that will give you value of that bond. Let's understand this with the help of an example. And before that, uh, uh, before that, uh, let us also understand the clean price and the dirty price. I think we have understood it already. So I'm just going to skip this slide because we have discussed this earlier. We will now look at the yield. So how do you find out the current yield? How to find the current yield? So current yield is defined as annual coupon payment divided by the current market price, as we discussed little while ago. So if I have to find current yield of a bond, how will I do it? I will take the interest amount on that bond, the coupon rate of that bond, divided by the current price and multiply it with 100. That will give my current yield. So for example, if a bond is paying a coupon of 10%, face value is 100 rupees, and currently it is trading at 90 rupees. So the current price is 90 rupees, coupon is 10, face value is 100. Therefore, coupon that I am getting is 10. 10 divided by 90, 11.11% becomes my current yield. So that is how I will find out the current yield in case of a bond. So please remember, because you have these kind of questions coming in your exam, small questions, and trying to test you on small conceptual things through a small exercise of this kind, and that is what you must remember. So this is an example, and there can be many such exercises that you can think of. After that, how to calculate the yield on treasury bill. And again, because treasury bills, as we all know, the government treasury bills are a big source of funding for government of India, especially for taking care of its temporary financial requirements. And the people who subscribe for these treasury bills, it's important for them to calculate their yield on these treasury bills. And how would you calculate yield on a treasury bill? As you can see on your screen. So remember, for example, only for example, in this formula, I have taken the issue price, the face value to be 100. In this example, as you see on your screen, I have taken the issue price to be 100. But remember, treasury bills are always issued in the denomination of 25,000 or multiples thereof. For example, we have taken it at 100 rupees. So face value, that is 100 rupees minus P. P is the price at which the treasury bills are being issued, into 365 into 100 divided by the P, which is again the issue price, into D. D is the duration or the tenure in terms of days of that particular treasury bill. Please understand, why have I taken 365 days in the numerator and why have I taken D, that is number of days, tenure in terms of number of days, in the denominator. That is because when the duration of an instrument is less than 1 year, then that return has to be annualized. So the impact of taking 365 in numerator and D, that is number of days for which this treasury bill is issued, in the denominator, has the effect of giving me annualized yield, and that is the reason why it has been taken that way. So let's take an example. Yep. Please go ahead. Please go ahead. Yes, Angad.
In the previous slide, you showed us that the days that a treasury bill has, the maximum is 364 days. Even if the price of the bond is 100, and so if you take something to 365 or 364 days, the variance remains.
Come again, please, Angad.
Look, if there is 365 that we are multiplying in the numerator, but the maximum tenure of a treasury bill is 364 days.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So, एक दिन का difference तो रहेगा.
Okay. Now, Angad, just think about it. See, remember, when it comes to annualization of the return.
Annualization of the 364, that is what I feel.
So what you are feeling is not correct, Angad. Let me tell you upfront. What you are feeling is not correct. Please understand, the year will always have 365 days. So therefore, if you have to annualize anything, you can annualize it with 365 days only. I hope you understand that. So the 365 days is correct. Don't get confused with that 1 day's difference in case if a treasury bill is issued for a period of 364 days. So please don't get confused. Just think about it and you will get the clarity by yourself. Okay. So
Sir, when it is 90 days, so what that condition will relate 91 for purpose of calculation of yield rate?
yeah, correct. That's right. Yeah. So as far as the issue by the Reserve Bank of India is concerned, it is going to be for 14 days or 91 days or 182 days or 364 days. And please pay attention, because treasury bill they can always be transferred to somebody else. So if I have subscribed for a treasury bill of a duration of let's say 91 days, and after 30 days I think that I need money, so I can always give it to somebody. So in that case, for that somebody, the remaining period will come as D. So if you see here 90, don't get confused, because the same confusion which Angad is getting on account of 364 and 365 days, you also should not get that confusion. So the days which I have taken 90 can be anything. It can be 70, it can be whatever. So it cannot be more than 364 days, because 364 days के ऊपर का तो आप इशू करते ही नहीं है, तो उसके ऊपर का नहीं हो सकता है. So 90 days if it is perfectly okay. And that is because the transaction will keep on happening in between. So whenever the transactions are happening in between, the remaining days to the tenure will come down. So whatever is the remaining day to the tenure, that you will need to take. So let us, as we are assuming here, that the remaining days of tenure are 90, and that is why we have taken 90 days. But I'm glad that you are able to think so minutely, which is a good thing. But then I'm sure you would be able to get your doubt also clear by yourself. Okay, so let us take an example. How much will be the yield of a treasury bill selling at rupees 97.5 that has got 90 days left for maturity? Now please understand what it says, left 90 days for maturity, right? So that means 1 day has already expired, or maybe that it was a treasury bill issued for a duration of 182 days, and out of those 182 days, 92 days have already expired. and 90 days are remaining, and that is how you have a 90 days left for maturity. I hope that makes sense to all of you. And assume the face value to be 100, and I'm repeating it once again. Face value in case of treasury bills is always going to be 25,000 or in multiples thereof. But we have to gain the conceptual clarity. So we have assumed to keep it simple as 100 rupees. Now, if this is the case, then what is going to be my annualized yield? And my annualized yield is going to be 100, which is the face value, minus 97.5, which is the issue price, which is the price at which it is being bought, into 365 into 100, divided by 97.5 into 90, and that comes 10.40. So my annualized return on my annualized yield on this treasury bill is going to be 10.40 days, because I am holding it for 90 days and I am getting a return for 90 days. But that return in terms of year as a whole, and always remember, year is of 365 days and not of 364 days, and that annualized return is coming to 10.40, and that is how you will calculate your yield on treasury bill.